Alright, so I'm going to be testing out this CIGARRA with the Innova T-Bird and the Latitude Explorer. From what I've noticed so far with this disc, it seems to have just a little bit more bite to it and a little bit more stability than your typical like 0-2 disc. Flight numbers are 7, 6, -1, 2. Even though I would say it's definitely more of like a -1, 3. But you can tell comparing it to like an Explorer or even a T-Bird is definitely like that 7, 5, 0, 2 type disc, which we all know that flight numbers are usually more advertisement or just like guidelines and not necessarily like set in stone how it's going to fly. I'm going to throw them all in a hyzer to this basket way down here. I mean, it's a little over 300 feet, but I'm going to be trying to go probably 30 feet past the basket. I'm going to throw them all just like on a stock half power hyzer shot so we can see what it does. All right, first up, the CIGARRA. Pretty stock hyzer, a little bit of a skip back. Explorer, a little bit more flip up, a lot more glide and height. And then T-Bird. Very similar to the CIGARRA. So the Explorer was the closest. T-Bird over here. And then the CIGARRA went the furthest, but also had the least amount of fade. I'm not gonna lie, that's the first time the CIGARRA has not had more fade than the Explorer for me. But I do think I threw the CIGARRA the lowest. So we're gonna take those back and I'm gonna throw them on flight and hyzer and see what to do more late flight on some more power. So for my first thoughts with the CIGARRA, I absolutely love it and went straight in my bag. It is very, very glidey, and it's definitely what AB described, which is like a longer buzz, and which I bagged the buzz, so that like obviously I'm gonna like the CIGARRA as well. But for me, it typically fits that spot where it's like a super, super straight flying fairway, but still has a very strong finish to the flight, which I absolutely love. And typically, even though those flights it didn't show it, it is a little bit more stable than my Explorer, but hopefully when we do these distance lines, you're going to be able to tell that when they get like on some good power in full flights, it still has like a lot of fight and a lot of bite to the end of the throw. So let's throw these flat and on anhyzer and then give you my final thoughts. For me, this is really where I saw a difference between the Explorer and the CIGARRA, which is why like I paired the CIGARRA with the Explorer in my bag, because it just seems to have a little bit more late stability when you put like more power on it. So, CIGARRA up first. Pretty flat, maybe even a little bit of anhyzer, and it just has a strong finish to it. Then the Explorer. Alright, T-Bird. Very similar. Probably a little bit more stability or bite. The T-Bird is there. The Explorer is a little bit shorter, and then the CIGARRA is the furthest, but not by much. All of which are, I don't know, 30, 40 feet past the basket-ish. And so you can tell, if anything, the CIGARRA, at least the Z runs, have a little bit more stability than the numbers would suggest. I mean, that Explorer is fairly brand new. The T-Bird is brand new. I don't know. I absolutely love this disc. I'm going to throw these on some anhyzer, see what they do there. We're going to start with the Explorer on some anhyzer. Oh yeah, that's not coming back. It's a great shot. Okay, at the very end, it started fighting. T-Bird. Similar angle, more height. The T-Bird, I mean, it was more nose up, but it still wanted to fight. All right, CIGARRA. Nose down, anhyzer. Look at that, dude. Still fighting out like 50 feet further than the other two. All right, so the T-Bird, 50 feet past the basket-ish. The CIGARRA, even further. And the Explorer is a lot further right, but this CIGARRA, where's the basket? There it is. I mean, the CIGARRA went the furthest, no doubt. The Explorer kind of burned over, which is what I expected. I think the Explorer actually will definitely go much further than the CIGARRA does, but if thrown at the right angle. But it's definitely the most understable, especially of these three, which is why it fits perfectly with the CIGARRA. Okay, so the CIGARRA went the furthest. My guess was around 350 to 360. I didn't measure it, but it was 50 feet past a basket that's a little over 300. Technically, I really do think that the Explorer goes the furthest out of these three. It's just also the most understable. But I hope you could tell from those, like the more powerful shots with the CIGARRA, like it has this really good finish and stability, neutrality, I don't think that's the word, neutralness to the flight that is just so nice. Like, it has the late stability of like a T-bird type disc, but it has the push and glide of like a neutral 7-speed. So this disc is so awesome. CIGARRA, 9 out of 10. So for me personally, it fits perfectly. Like, I use the Explorer for like long, stable shots that have some turn and late finish. And then now the CIGARRA just kind of fits perfectly because it's going to hold that straight line. And I can even trust a little bit more torque on it. And it just holds the line and stables out when I need it to. So, phenomenal disc. And they're really cheap. I think they're like $15. I mean, come on. As always, love y'all. Stay snappy. Try the CIGARRA. I'm not sure how you say it.